Welcome in, everyone. Same day, new time. This is a live stream that is titled The Doctor's Orders on the Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff YouTube channel. Normally, we are live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Special occasions, we may switch it up here or there, and today is one of those days. And my name is Dan C. Bearded, and I host this live stream for this amazing company. And next to me over here, we have Nick and Jill, special guest in here. Jill, first off, how are you doing?
I am doing well today. Thank you, Dan. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. Doing great.
Did you have a good field trip?
We did. Yes. I got to go on my first ever field trip as a parent with my son Jackson's first ever field trip as a student. And we went to a local children's museum, and it was so awesome, man. He was so happy. Just anytime he was away from me, he was giving me thumbs up and waving, and we got to play and stuff. So yeah, it was fantastic. Absolutely great day. Great day.
Dude, I love those photos, man. That was he was cheesing, he had a big old smile on. He was pumped to have his dad there with him. What an awesome confidence boost, man.
And when I walked in, because we had to drive separately, and they started out in a classroom setting, when I walked in, all of the kids, there was a teacher from the Children's Museum teaching. He stopped and because the whole class was turning to me, and the kids were pointing at me and talking about me. And the actual classroom teacher, Jackson's teacher, goes, "They think you're a celebrity. Don't worry about it." I was like, "Oh my gosh, all these 6-year-olds."
Oh, dude. Well, I mean, you are.
I
mean, you are. It's funny. It's especially with kids, Jack. We'll say the same thing to people. He'll tell them all about, what we're doing on the streams and this kind of stuff. My dad does this and this and this. And I'm always like, man, cool. You're setting the bar pretty high here, bro.
Right. And one of our main guys, Ryan M., we had him on a previous live stream. If you guys want to go back and watch any of the replays from before, he says different feeling being a dad versus a teacher. Absolutely, in a way, that teacher instinct doesn't leave you. The boys had their birthday party this weekend, and I didn't even plan on it, but I had to snap into teacher mode. We had to go from the gym to a party room that was way down the other end of the facility. And I'm like, all right, take a seat. And I went over and I said, all right, single file, get behind me, in full teacher mode. But it was definitely nice not having full responsibility this time.
There's certain things you get to do as a teacher that you don't get to do in normal life that I think probably becomes second nature to you as a teacher. But some of those things are things that I've never done, right? I've never told anybody behind me, single file line. I've never used the words take a knee. Because I've never been a coach. So, you know what I mean? And okay, well, read it in front of the class. Did you bring enough for everybody? You know what I mean? There's just certain things you never get to say in real life.
I definitely said, did you bring enough for everybody?
Well, yeah, when Wilson shows up and he has a little bag of beer goodies with him. Well, did you bring enough for the class?
It is interesting. You definitely snap back into it, and it was definitely teacher mode. But great day.
That's funny.
Great weekend. Nick, how are you doing on this Tuesday?
Dude, I'm doing pretty good, man. It's been a wild week already. And just so everyone knows, it's Dan has me once again stepping out of my comfort zone. And not only has he had me on video now with you guys, where I can't do anything about the way I look or sound. I just throw myself out there. It's like jumping out of an airplane with the parachute's going to work or it's not. And now he has me, of course, doing some instructional videos like we've talked about. And now I'm stuck half of today looking at my own face on video, picking apart my own edits. So it's kind of interesting in the sense that it has made me be, I think, a little less picky about certain things.
Yeah. So, your face?
Like my face. Yeah. I think that's the hardest one to get over, is just all this going on right here. But it's really fun. And now that I got one under the belt, I kind of got a little bit of a workflow down and I'm liking it. So I'm like, this isn't so bad. I'm going to bust out 5 more of these things this week. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah. I remember the days of just starting to do the videos and not liking my voice, not liking anything. And I realized I didn't like a lot of the stuff because I wasn't fully opening up to be myself. I was kind of a muted version of myself, or a cinematic version of myself. And then once I got comfortable and exactly the process you're going through, where you're like, I actually don't mind it. I had to be a little bit easier. It all just comes out of me, and I don't even think about it. It's not even a care in the world to hear my voice or see myself.
Well, so nerd moment. So, everyone likes hearing about technology stuff. And well, we just decided it's going to be a focal point of next week. But what do you use when you're doing pre-recorded videos?
Yep.
What do you use so you shoot them on camera, right?
Yep.
On camera, internal storage. You pull a memory card. It's got your audio and your video synced on one file.
Yep.
You suck that guy in. What do you use for your video editing platform?
So I use a platform that is pretty user friendly, and it's called Animotico Pro, and it does everything that I need, and I know it super well. I've thought about going to DaVinci Resolve or going to
no, don't do that. Don't do that.
or Premiere Pro. These different options that are out
so
there. Yeah, but I really like what I have. I'm not some crazy cinematic video person, I'm an educator, and so it works out really well for me. My workflow's super smooth.
You know what's funny is, so I have traditionally, and it's a timeline editor, right? Where you see your whole video down there in a timeline, and everything you add into it is stacked up above your timeline.
100%. Yep.
So I'm a timeline editor guy because I'm an Adobe guy, right? So I'm used to mostly on the photo side. So I use Lightroom, Photoshop, Illustrator, those kinds of things. So my natural thought was to go with Premiere. And I open it up, and there are so many nerd knobs to turn that I was like, unreal. Oh dear God, what am I doing? I'm never going to make it out of foundling world here.
You have to take classes to learn that stuff.
So get this. I'm talking to Noah, the guy that shot our news video that came in with CBS, with WBZ.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to him, and I was like, hey man, I'm really liking some of these tips you gave me for doing some shooting and some video. Like I used his tips to shoot Wilson's trim up video.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I still, I'm going to use Descript. I like the text editor for doing simple tutorial videos because it's really easy to track all your text and what you're saying and make sure all your content is there. And I was like, I still haven't made the Premiere jump though, and all that. It's just so much. I don't have the 40 hours I need to figure out a basic workflow. And he's like, dude, you and your partner, Dan, he's like, if you guys ever wanted to make the Premiere jump, get everything installed. I'll set up a morning with you, and I'll just come over and we'll do a screen share with Dan. He's like, I'll get you both set up with a whole workflow. I will save you about 80 hours of learning, and we'll do it in 2 hours. Let me know when you want to do it.
All right.
And then I asked him how much he wanted to charge, and he says he just likes us and likes what we do here, and said he'd just come over and do it for free as a friend. So I was like,
that's amazing.
Man.
Schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
How cool is
let's
that?
do it.
Wilson's comment there, he had a hard time avoiding the camera for that, couple hours?
Well, he hadn't, well, yeah. Well, he was talking, I think,
job.
about the film Nightmare of him getting his beard trimmed. He has sweaty palms the whole time. He got up and he had pit stains and wringing sweat out of his palms.
So bad. He'll be in the seat before we know it, right, Wilson?
Well, the funny thing about that is no one knows on that video that he was actually strapped into that barber's chair under the apron. So he had no choice but to just sit still.
And if you guys are coming in real quick, please, most of you have, but hit that thumbs up for us if you don't mind, to show YouTube that you like this. This is a live stream that we have done 32 weeks in a row. And also, we are starting to pump out some more content on this channel. You're going to see some more videos from me. You're going to see some videos from Nick. And we want to make sure we're continuing the live streams. We want to make sure we're getting some informational content out there. But if you're new here, one thing that I think you will enjoy if you catch these streams or go back and watch the replays is not only do you learn about the company, but you also learn about the people behind the company. And one of the things you may have known is that Jill and Nick are metalheads. So, Nick, they want to know, are you going to this big music festival with Ozzy, Maiden, Guns N' Roses, any of those?
No. And, well, for good reason, though. We're insanely busy here. We've been trying to figure out how to add someone in that can be here during the week to ship orders. Ooh. And once we ship orders, we will be able to go on vacations again. Wow. As of right now, we have Jack, we have Sir, we have this place, we have you people. And unfortunately, everyone is a little demanding. So we haven't actually taken a vacation since we took 2 days off for our wedding. And before that was about, right before the pandemic. So we went to Kauai. So we have not taken a day off away from it. We've taken a day off, but it's been here. So this year, August, we're going to finally take our honeymoon. So that's exciting. Woo. We're going to skip down to Costa Rica for a week and we're going to have like batch shipping that week. I think if we don't have someone full time, we're going to have someone come in like Monday,
Perfect.
Wednesday, Friday and ship orders. So everyone will be taken care of. But no, sadly, we are just now kind of opening up to being able to get away from the home base for things like that.
Well, you tried to throw me off a cliff for my birthday before our wedding. There's that too.
Yeah, I did try that. And she's still
didn't
here.
work.
No, it didn't work. She's a better climber than I might have thought. Well, she passed the test though. So, I mean, here she is.
I passed the test, so he brought me back the day after when it rained the whole night and made sure I could still climb.
Oh yeah, I'm
just to be sure.
Well, you made it when it was dry.
Where's my harness?
Kinda.
You don't get one.
No.
Climb, lady.
Is there ropes or nets? No, there is not.
Love it. So this stream, you guys, is a pretty special one today. Something that we've been building up on the stream. Dr. Nix has been building up on their Instagram page. And if we have time at the end, we will have a chance for Q&A where you guys can ask any questions to Nick and Jill. We don't have a plan. We don't have a script. So we don't know exactly how long these things take. But we stay to 1 hour. And so just kind of keep that in mind. We will get you guys out of here by 8 p.m. Eastern. But today, something that's been building up with this stream has been this title of this series that we'll call What the Heck Is It? And this is what we are talking about right here. This is what the heck is that thing?
I feel like we needed Keenan from Saturday Night Live on his skit called What's Up With That? Where he's like, ooh wee, what's up with that? What's up with that, y'all? Oh yeah,
you guys didn't even know that you were on you were on the solo layout there for the musical.
We didn't.
Oh well, I mean, if it's karaoke time,
I love it.
I will hand the mic to Jill.
Yeah.
I do want to open this up. I'm going to start off by saying Brad is wrong here. His guess is incorrect.
It's definitely not COVID.
But if anybody has guesses out there, if you know the answer for any reason, somebody told you, Nick, or anybody else out there, don't answer, please. Do not spoil it or ruin it. But if you legitimately think you know what this is, right? If you know what I have in my hands here, what Jill was showing, put your guesses in the chat. What do you think this concoction is?
Mike,
yeah,
beard oil.
Beard oil. All right.
I like 90 milliliters of fluid, but it's not that much. Well, that one is.
Mike is as intuitive as he is tall and handsome.
Summer beard oil.
Summer beard oil. Okay.
New oil blend.
Oh, well, so that actually is probably, so beard oil, right? Yes. New oil blend. Yes. All right.
There is
all
a mixture.
Wrong.
Yep. There is a mixture of oils. That's
anytime.
Chris Barden made it. I was so sad. I didn't get the chance to text him. Oh, that's from the derp.
Oh, that's from the comments.
That's from the comments. I gotta message him.
Wrong comments.
The next thing I order. Dennis is definitely right.
Dennis, you're definitely right.
Okay. Cologne blend. No.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
Take my money.
Oh, yes.
I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that.
We've been looking for a name.
Take my money.
Take my money.
Essential oils involved. Yes.
Involved.
Longer lasting scent oil. No, not necessarily.
That's still
leather,
coming, Garrett.
No leather, because keep in mind, as of right now, at least, this company is 100% pure essential oils, and you cannot squeeze or milk leather to make an essential oil.
We tried.
Yep.
Jinx.
Yeah, if it has nipples, you can milk it. Well, not as far as oil.
Not once it's dead.
Right. Yep. That is a good
That's the only way to get leather.
You can't milk dead nipples.
Growth serum.
Quote
Oh.
It
They're
is
up.
correct.
The beautiful Melissa McCarthy.
She knew. She's so smart and talented.
I think, that's what it is. See, of course, I knew it was going to be one of the women in our audience here that get it right. They're smarter and more intuitive than we are.
She said, what? And I will say, we have alluded to this in the past, like the far past of stream. So it's not just some crazy out there idea. She listened. It's like when people are good at giving gifts, they hear just like a little, little thing. They store it, they compartmentalize it, and then they come back and get you that gift later on. Like, that's nice. She said, I had no idea. All
Girls
right,
are
Jill.
stamp collectors.
Yeah.
Because they
That was in her
they
stamp
lick them
collection.
and they fold them up
Oh.
and then they save them for
Flips
later.
through and she's like,
And then when it's
"Must be."
either your birthday or you've done something wrong, they go, page 13 here
Holds this stamp.
shows.
Look at Garrett. I wonder where she got that answer from.
That's okay, dude. That just, just put her up there.
All right, Jill, Nick, take it away. This is a growth serum. What are the details? This is your floor. Take it off. Take it away.
All right, let me kick it off, and then we're going to come to you for some technical nuts and bolts.
Okay.
Okay. So what we have here is a myriad of growth serums. Whoosh. Right there. Now, as you guys know, we don't do anything easily, I guess we'll say. We overanalyze everything to death. Jill has kind of taken that lead from me and now ran with it.
I married into it.
These started off with, I don't even know how many samples of these growth serums. And here was the goal, right? So there is some things. Dan's published a bunch of these studies. He's shared a lot of these articles. He shared a lot of them with us, right? And we found that there is a bunch of stuff out there that probably embodies the thought of a growth serum, but we didn't think that it had really a full rounded solution out there that we liked yet. And you know us, right? We're all about doing things a little different. We like to find cool ingredients that add to the benefits of things and do it all naturally. And so that's what we did here. There's a couple ingredients in the base oil and the carrier oil that are very, very different than most growth serums that you'll see out there in the market. I feel like a lot of them are just a base oil blend that people already have. And then they add peppermint and rosemary to it, which are two great growth stimulators. What Jill wanted to do and what I wanted to do was not just give you our same base carrier oil blend that's in our beard oil. We wanted to give you something new and exciting that had the benefits that contributed to a growth serum, which would make healthy skin, healthy follicles, healthy roots of the hair, all around good skin health, right? Because hair grows out of the skin. You need good soil to grow tall trees, the same things we've always been saying. And so what we came up with here is a completely from the ground up, brand new carrier oil blend that embodies the essential oils that I'll let Jill dive into that are in this. Of course, main ones for the growth side of things being peppermint and rosemary. Dan's published a bunch of studies out there. Is it proven by, backed FDA-based science that there is hair growth from these things? No, it's not an official word. Is there lots of studies out there that have been peer reviewed that show that there is a marked increase of follicle growth because of peppermint? Yes. Is there the same because of rosemary? Yes. So if we were going to go the all natural route, these are the two likely suspects that we would focus on. And that's what we did focus on. We also put some things in there that are really some crazy, like this one that Jill will go into here called Purity Oil. That is a game changer. It works with the surface of your skin to create vitamin A as it oxidizes into your skin. There's heavy vitamin E compounds in here. So, you're going to get a really good dose of A and E along with these, follicle boosting, peppermint and rosemary essential oils. And of course, those are the same high quality level of oils that we use in everything. But it's some exciting stuff. I shaved my beard off last week completely after the stream, and it's right back to where it was. I didn't actually do that. No, that's fake news. So I think what we'll do though is there's some hair growth effects, there's some soothing effects, there's some built-in benefit from the carriers and the layered on essential oils. And with that, I'll give it to Jill to dive into some of the talk about Purity Oil first, because that's it's a carrier oil. It's the basis.
Okay.
Let's build up from there.
Okay. I was going to dive into the peppermint rosemary, but we'll go right into Purity.
Let's do it.
It's funny because I found Purity Oil when I was a teenager, and I've always had thin hair, although I have a lot of it. It's thin. My mother has
8 feet of hair.
But close to 8 feet of hair.
Yeah.
She's been growing her hair out for 20 years. So I found this at some store, and I actually liked the benefits that I found from it. That helped soothe my strands. It helped with any frizz I had. I did notice that it had maybe a little bit more growth, but I wasn't really going for that in the beginning. And then flash forward to now, we're looking at carrier oils that are actually beneficial to help promote growth. And what pops up but my old friend Beardy oil. So these are the nuts that come from palm trees in like South Africa and South America. I think they look like
lychees, kind of.
Really? I was going to say if like an armadillo poppled itself.
Oh, like if an armadillo was a nut.
Yeah, remember popples?
Yeah.
Yeah, how they folded.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an armadillo poppled itself. But they're super duper duper high in beta carotene, which is what causes this crazy color.
Yeah, that's literally, that color just comes from the Beardy, because it has so much beta carotene in it. I'd almost want to go grab like a jug of it and show it, like that you can't see through it. Like this oil is like all the way dark orange red. It looks like orange food coloring in the bottle almost.
Yeah. So on our little what the heck are these posts, when it floats on top, it's actually floating on the castor oil, because castor oil is so thick and Beardy oil is a quite thin consistency. So it sits on top of it, which created that really cool, I thought it looked like a tequila sunrise type look.
Like an upside down tequila sunrise? Yeah, no one guessed tequila sunrise shots, by the way.
Which means none of you actually know me.
Right, which means everyone needs to study up on Jill.
Come on, guys.
Because this was 11 a.m. on a Thursday. That could have very well been a tequila sunrise.
It could have been. So, we also we chose castor oil. It does have great moisture locking benefits.
Yeah, sorry. Put that question back up, Dan. Is that the darker amber oil in the gray beaker? So back there behind this, that's the Beardy oil in the background in that jug.
That's why I showed it. Yep.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that stuff is.
Yeah, it was quite shocking to see. And then I realized how little was actually in the product I was using as a teenager, because it was a completely clear oil.
Yeah, that's where, you know what? What's up with those products too? They're like, now with Beardy oil, and you look and it's the last ingredient.
0.005%.
Yeah, it's like the last ingredient after fragrance. Like,
so what we did across these 4 testers is we used the Beardy oil in different percentages, and we've sent little samples out to all our live animal test subjects, our bearded friends, some of our thinning haired women. And I even did a few tests on skin to make sure this beta carotene doesn't actually stain.
Yeah, we didn't want a self-tanner.
Yeah. If you know anything about eating too many carrots, you can actually cause your skin to tint orange if you have a high beta carotene diet.
Mm-hmm.
So far, blondes, light skin tones, and all that locked in with this has not caused any staining, which is a good sign.
Yeah, like my scalp is so white that I'm basically reflective in the sun.
Yeah.
And I put it like all over. I'm like, whoo, I'm gonna have like locks coming out of my head here. But the main test was to see, like, does it actually stain my scalp orange? Because your scalp's so porous.
It is so porous. I'll have to send Dan the photo of the Tagaderm drop I did, where I left just the Beardy pure.
Oh yeah.
Just to make sure it didn't stain.
Dan's like, yes, that's content. Send it.
Yes, please.
It looks kind of weird. I'm like, I don't know. This kind of looks like a wart under there. I might wait to send this, but maybe in context now, you guys know.
Yeah, that's like when we're doing new blends, that's what Jill will do, because like the underside of her arms is really sensitive. So when we're trying new either carrier blends or new essential oil blends, we joke about live animal test subjects, but it's not actually a joke, because she'll actually take the oil, put it on her skin, and then cover it in Tagaderm to let no air hit it. And that's like the worst case scenario for any kind of agonist. And if it doesn't make her skin red, then we know we like it and it's not going to be irritating.
Castor oil has been known to irritate some people too. So not only do I not love the consistency, but I do love the benefits of it has nice moisture locking benefits. So it takes that Beardy oil, it takes that peppermint and that rosemary, and it really locks it in. I don't like the consistency. It's so thick and heavy.
JSR's got the right move here. Put it on my head, and if I have a mullet before the stream's over, then we know it's on point.
Okay.
I'm gonna look like
JSR.
I'm gonna look like Joe Dirt.
Yeah, I want to look like Joe Dirt.
Skull it.
That's a good point that's something good to point out. The thing with a growth stimulating oil is it can't make hair grow where it doesn't normally grow. But if you find that you have areas where it's thinner than others, for me, where I'm testing is I have thinning like up here and up here due to dermatitis. So I'm testing two on this side and another one on this side. Sorry, I'm looking at myself and I can't tell which side. But
yeah, no, you can never tell looking at this thing. I always think the door's that way.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Nope, it's that way.
And one of the main benefits of this, like kind of Jill's, to piggyback on that statement, is a huge proponent for waking dormant hair follicles. So
yeah,
to say that it doesn't grow in hair where it's not, that's true. But a lot of people will see a spot and believe they don't have hair there. But there's actually the foundation for everything you need below the surface, but something is keeping it under there, whether it was a traumatic event where something happened to the surface of the skin. It could just be an area where you have different skin layers that is starting to compound on each other. There's a whole lot of things, but essentially it can go in and wake up that dormant hair follicle and then get the hair to start growing out of the surface of the skin when it was kind of trapped below the surface.
Yeah, and I think that's the deal. And you know, obviously the spots on your head that don't grow hair versus the spots on your face
Very
that don't
different.
don't grow hair for very different reasons, right?
Correct.
You know, the DHT aromatization of hormones that goes on in men's scalps.
Male pattern baldness. Very different.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huge difference. And you know what the funny thing is, though, is you look over at one of the studies you sent, actually, Dan talked about, was it talking about the men in India using essential oil blends with carrier oil on their heads?
And actually had results, which is freaky.
Which is freaky because, you know, every other study says that, you know, male pattern baldness, you know, it's not going to fix that. But these guys over thousands of years swear by it. You know, these guys have been doing this without the FDA telling them they should for a really long time.
Correct. And there's not only, and this is a peer-reviewed journal, it's a fantastic PubMed journal. It not only shows you the data of the results, but it also shows photo evidence of the results. And this was something that they did double-blind studies. They went through the whole process, and not saying that this is ethically right, but they're also able to duplicate those same results on rats.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And so someone else asked a question here a minute ago.
I got a lot of questions.
If you had ever heard of this before this.
Right.
The Beardy oil.
One. Yeah, this is one that I have come across in passing, right? When I would read lists of things that'll say like what helps with hair growth, but I've never worked with it and I've never really studied it in depthly.
Which I think is one of the cool benefits of having Jill at the helm of this,
For
right?
sure.
Because when I went through originally formulating Dr. Nick's, right? Like I worked with an apothecary friend of mine and some other people to kind of come up with these original carrier oil blends. But the stuff that we and they had exposure to in the world of men's skin and hair care is very different than the stuff that Jill or any other women in here are going to have experience with in some of the products that they use. So I think, you know, having the female perspective in these products, just like the marula and the barrage oil in our carrier blend, we're the only ones that do that. And that was a Jill introduction because of things that worked for her and her skin and her hair and really high-end products that she's tried. And so it's another example of that.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback on that, so people will naturally ask, Dan, are you going to make a video? Are you going to do a carrier oils one? I've talked about this very transparently before. I likely will in the future, but timing is going to be important to me because for good or bad, it is what it is. If I cover something like that or I make a big deal about an ingredient, you're going to find 8 companies next week that are trying to duplicate it. And so it's like a bittersweet thing where it's like, I don't want to punish people that are stepping outside of the box and doing these amazing things. When I do that, just like when I review a company, there's going to be 10 reviewers that message the company and ask for free stuff. The same thing happens when I cover ingredients or processes that companies are going to then magically do that the next week. So eventually, for sure, but we'll use this platform to kind of educate and describe and go over these. And so, yeah, absolutely. I understand what you're asking, and I will. I promise I'll cover one in the future. It's a really unique one. I love the history of it. So it'll be a good one. But
Yeah.
let me hit you guys with some questions here to kind of get a baseline, and then we'll go through all their questions, and then whatever we need to put together as far as the pieces go, we'll go up and clean it. So first
I like that.
one, yeah, perfect. First one here is it available? Is it on the website right now? Is it something that is coming down the pipeline? What are we looking at as far as availability?
So right now we are in our testing phase.
We think we finally came down to the finalist.
We came down to the finalist, but we're not sure because although we have no problem say these can promote growth, we want to know they do promote growth.
Right.
Yep.
It's easy to say something can be done.
Right.
Yep.
It's different to actually see it be done.
Yep.
So although we think we know which ratios, which percentages, and which blend we want to go with, we're still not ready to release it until we see the results that we're looking for.
Yep. And, to that point, what's really interesting from my standpoint, where I've been using it was in a place that was really easy to see marked differences. And so I've never had to do much lineup on my cheeks because right above, I guess you'd see right here, the hairs that grow right at the edge of my cheek line are actually really thin. And if you look, what's kind of weird is they don't get super long either. They stop about there. And so they do add some nice thickness, to the top quilt that goes on here. But I've been using it right there. And so I didn't necessarily have patchiness, but what I had was some thinner hairs. And what I will say that I've noticed is as I'm trimming now, I actually do have to get right into that hairline because some of the little wispies that were on the edge there have gotten a little thicker. So I've been noticing some improvement in thickness of a couple of the hairs that are normally a little on the thin side. So we're going to let that continue though. And so to answer this question just all the way, we literally don't sell anything that we can't speak to the direct results of. We don't talk about anything theoretically, right? So until we can speak about this factually, we probably won't put it up. But we wanted to let you guys know it's coming. And I would say it's very, very close.
It is very close. We know all of the smaller details.
Yep.
We've kind of worked with the label art a little bit and we know the packaging and all that. And we know the ingredients we're using. We just want to make sure these percentages are right. And to go with what Nick said, what you'll see here is I'm much thinner on this side.
And that side's really filling out.
Yeah, it's kind of filling out. So trying to ditch these peaks. I'm seeing some thickness come in too. I have my sister on it. We have a couple beards.
Yep, we got a few beards. We got a couple of heads. We got a bunch of skin trying this stuff out.
So
so to kind of put that all together to answer this question here, that's what they're working on proving through experience. They got the data, the research behind it. Now they want to prove it on actual humans. So first and foremost is to address weak spots, weak areas where you want to wake up those dormant hair follicles. Now, Nick and Jill are experiencing some actual improvement on the hairs themselves that are getting thicker, that are getting stronger. And I don't necessarily think that this is something like biotin where it's going to speed up your growth rate, but it's more so about the structure and the coverage of the hairs. Is that what you guys would say?
Yeah, dead on, man. Nailed it. I mean, that's really it. And so I'd say, probably promote new growth in areas that are patchy. Yes. To help existing growth get thicker and more substantial. Yes. Accelerate existing growth. That one's probably, the jury's probably out on that one. I think a lot of people that sell, you could probably find a product that has the exact same essential oil blend in it with a generic carrier blend, and they will probably say accelerates growth, gets rid of patchy spots, grows new hairs, all those sorts of things. Because they're saying what the studies say those ingredients do. I doubt they've seen any of those happen.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So do is
it more of a spot treatment oil?
It can be.
I would say it can be.
What my goal is between these different percentages across these 4 testers that we have in front of us is we would like for someone starting off with very patchy, lots of empty spots to be able to use it across their whole beard and face without feeling weighed down, tacky, and sticky.
Right.
Because our spots may not be the same as everyone else's spots. Some people might just be, with alopecia and might have more spots or not. So.
Right. Yeah. And then, yeah, Zach, I like this one. Do you use this growth oil instead of the beard oil, or do you use them together? This is absolutely a 1-2 punch kind of thing, Zach. So you're going to use your beard oil like you normally would in the morning. And this would probably go on right before you put butter in your beard at night. So you'd be using this at night. You'd be focusing on the skin. So just like when you put beard oil in the morning, you're going to really focus on the skin. You're going to get it in there, get it onto the skin. If you have patchy spots, you're going to work it into those areas specifically. And then once that's on your skin, then you can do whatever other nighttime treatment you do, like a butter or anything else that you might do at night. But I would definitely use this at night. It's best to sit on your skin. Then you wash it off in the morning and do your normal routine.
And then to kind of go off of that one, these are transitioning beautifully here. What if someone's like, I got a strong beard, I don't have any spots. Do you think that there could be any benefit from somebody trying this if they wanted to just cover, like, let's say the base of their skin, like you said, use it at night before butter? Is there's some kind of benefit you could foresee with that?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of benefit to all these carrier oils. So the third one I didn't mention was rice bran. So it will be Beardy castor oil and rice bran with peppermint and rosemary in it. But the rice bran, that has insane benefits just for the hair itself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you've all heard about, geisha women washing their hair with rice water and just the beautiful benefits of that too. So these are all going to be great if you did want a thicker, it is a much thicker consistency than our typical blend. So if that's, maybe you have a drier beard or maybe you have a more mature beard, Beardy oil is great for matured hair. It's so softening. It's so full of vitamin E, vitamin A, and fatty acids, oleic acid, and all that.
And you can see it. I mean, Dan, throw this up real quick. Look at how this coats this vial, right? So like, look at this guy. Look at how this coats when you turn it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it coats that glass like crazy before it all drips off. Like that stuff stays orange for quite a while when you turn it.
And we haven't seen any staining. That was my only concern.
Yep. No stains.
Because beta carotene has been used in fake tanners and things like that. But this being an actual natural derivative of it, I don't think it's going to cause any issues.
Yeah, you're not going to Trump tan yourself with this stuff.
No. I mean, unless you want to, and then that's on you, I guess.
One more time. Beardy castor rice bran is our carrier blend.
Correct.
Peppermint, rosemary, and then is it lavender?
Lavender was just
very light, though.
It's so light.
And Dan's not a huge lavender guy all the time.
No, you wouldn't actually notice there's lavender in there. I was speaking with someone in the chat a couple weeks back about like, lavender. How hard is it to make
that's right. Yeah, lavender is one that you like. That's right.
Lavender.
I knew you were on one side of the fence or another on it. I forget if you loved it or hated
lavender.
And it's great. It's very mild. I remember speaking in the chat with someone a couple weeks ago, like how hard could it be to make a peppermint beard oil? Just put peppermint in it. Well, nobody wants to smell like toothpaste and the cough drop I have in my mouth right now. So it was a delicate balance of the peppermint. Rosemary is also very stimulating too. So I didn't want just the benefit of the peppermint waking up those follicles. I wanted to add the rosemary benefit. You put those two together, they're a power team. And it was very, very minty. So I just kind of cut it with a little bit of lavender to soften it.
Yeah, it does. X-ray. Does it have a unique smell by itself? And I would absolutely say it does. I mean, it's got the Beardy oil. So clarify, does the Beardy have a unique smell on its own, or does this
answer both?
Both. Okay, so I'll just hit both. Beardy, no. It doesn't smell nutty. It smells like a natural plant oil.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably, if you were blindfolded, you probably couldn't tell it apart from fresh grapeseed oil.
Probably not. The rice bran definitely has much more of an odor.
Yeah,
it smells like oil. Now, this stuff, though, I mean, just talk about a different variation of anything else we have. I mean, this stuff is big hit on the mint, but the rosemary makes it smell botanical. So it doesn't smell like you accidentally got toothpaste all over your face, like Joe was saying.
They complement each other well. And
it smells good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I did see another question on there. Will it come in other scents? No, that's unfortunate because it's part of
the purpose.
What stimulates. Yeah.
This smells like what stimulates the growth.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it just happens to be a scent profile I really like.
Dude, I imagined this one was going to be right up your alley. Like you love rosemary, minty kind of scents.
For sure.
I almost feel like we need to do like this scent profile, but in one of our regular oils.
No. I'm working on a Dan-based oil. Shush.
Okay.
All right, I'll take this next one here. And this is a fair question because I have a very public platform, and I had worked with another company to develop a growth serum. That company is no longer around. It's not replacing. This is something that is totally different. And you have that Burity, which is a star of the show that I've never seen in a beard product before. The one that I helped is actually going to be with a new company. And so that's out there and exists if that's something you want. But this one is something that's just its own entity. And I will say, full disclosure, I did not help develop this. This was not something I can take any credit for. I am super happy with the results, super proud of Jill and everything she created here. But this is not something that I can take any credit for other than just any bouncing of ideas and testing and that kind of stuff. But this is...
Yeah, we have our normal round tables about this stuff.
Dan's really good at lighting a fire under me. That
he
gets
does.
me going.
Once in a while, Dan will throw something out like, it'd be kind of cool to see you guys do something with a growth stimulator. But I don't know if you can really do that with all natural ingredients or if you could figure that out. So I imagine that might be a bit of a stretch. And Jill's like,
try some peppermint.
And then back to the stamp book. Got that one.
Yeah.
All right.
I do like to push a little bit on the comfort zone of things, and then they process it, they come back and knock it out of the park. So that is awesome. And I love this. We kind of touched on it a little bit. It truly could be any time. We don't have any results or data that says like night growth is better than morning growth. But if you have a common routine, Nick and I have very similar routines, right? We get ready in the morning, and then at night we like to use butter, get our beards damp. It just makes sense to be able to put that on later in the night. But you can figure out any routine that works for you, and kind of going back to the spot treatment or whole beard treatment, it truly is whatever your situation needs. If you have a thin beard and you're like, I need to get better neck coverage, whole beard coverage, you can apply it like a beard oil. You can have it absorb in, then maybe later come back and apply the oil. This is going to be like a situational tool that you're going to use to your needs. Essentially is how that's going to work.
Now, can I piggyback on that a little bit?
And I can piggy you.
Okay. No. Well, so now this is easy. It's not that kind of live stream. Now, I'm gonna speak out of my actual area of knowledge here, but it's based on something I think I heard you say, and that might depict when people would want to or not want to wear this in the morning. Is that because of the level of beta carotene in this, that can create, if it's on your skin and you're in the sun, it could create some photosensitivity, right?
Vitamin A can create photosensitivity.
Okay.
Yes, we cannot deny that. So I would say probably in midsummer, you may not want to apply this to your entire beard.
Or like a whole patchy area. Yeah, exactly.
I would agree with that. Absolutely. But also to go with what Dan said, that's the part of the point of this whole test is to make sure that if someone did want to wear this in the day, one, does it irritate us during the day? Do we feel like when we're in the sun, it's causing photosensitivity? Is it too thick to wear all day? Because, man, castor oil, I have to keep going back to it. I couldn't even suck this thing up a pipette when I was making it. I'm like...
Yeah, and it's so funny too because
it's like glue.
Like when I was first formulating our original carrier blend with grapeseed oil, the guy I was working with suggested castor, and I just didn't like it so much that I completely omitted it, which is why we have a medium light viscosity oil. But now going and testing these, I haven't used anything but our beard oil in so damn long. Then I'm putting this on and I get on my fingers. I'm like, what is this? And I was testing like the
sticky.
It was one of the variations that had like a lot of castor. This one, you can see how it moves. It's much thicker.
It moves like a lava lamp.
Yeah, it literally moves like a lava lamp. So I just didn't like the greasy feel of it. So we got it to the point where you still had the benefit of castor, because one of the benefits, right, of it being thicker is it sits on your skin longer. So it's going to sit there and deliver those beneficial essential oils.
Yep, that's the slow absorbing oil
to your skin much longer,
which
is nice.
Is a quick absorbing,
right?
Yeah. And then the rice bran kind of sits in between, so it kind of keeps the other two.
Yeah, it creates a nice group hug. You got some fast absorbing, some slow absorbing, and then one right in the middle to kind of act as a peacekeeper.
Also, these are all different percentages of the essential oil blend that we came up with. So this one was much more mild and in a thicker oil, and we right off the bat were like, up it.
Nope.
So as we went on, we started to up. We even tested one. This number 3 also has sunflower and marula in it, just to see if we liked it. We didn't really.
Nope, it absorbed too fast.
It absorbed
that was the
really
challenge.
Fast.
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't act like what you'd want for a stimulator, because it just like sucked right
that
into
was
the skin.
literally my first one out. And guys, we test blind. We don't tell each other a single thing. And then when
No.
we came
Blind
in,
test.
I said, number 2 is my favorite. Jill lit up and it was her favorite too.
Yeah, I was stuck between 2 and 3, but I think, you know, that was the deal breaker there.
As you can see, you can't even see the 2 on my tester anymore. I've used it so much.
Yeah, she's rubbed it right off.
So here's a good question from
yeah.
my buddy Jason. You said it works on women's hair. And if a person gets hives easily, is there anything off the top of your head that would lend this to an outbreak of hives, or anything that would be like, hey, like this company was founded based on Nick's irritation with his skin, and we know these oils are soothing and actually work really well for eczema and work well for these things. What about this situation? Have you found anything with sensitive skin or hives or anything?
Beardy is great for sensitive skin and super soothing. So I know that. I know that some people tend to have a sensitivity to castor oil. I've never ran into that situation. Nick's never run into that situation.
And I
so
haven't.
You already.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it in my large sample size of people dealing with stuff. And I hear about everything you can imagine, from people having a smell with coconut oil to people having sticky feeling with grapeseed oil. I mean, I hear everything. I've never actually heard, other than personal preference, issues with castor.
So just as a spot treatment here, Jason, everything gives me hives. Everything. If I grab my dog right now over on this couch and I let him lick the underside of my arm, or I just rub it under like the underside of his leg where he's like oily, I will literally have red hives down my arm by the end of this stream within like 5 minutes. So just as a spot test, I get hives quick and I get them easily. I just put a decent size on my finger and I just put it all down my cheek right here where I normally get hives. And just to demonstrate also, my biggest hive spot, if I touch anything, is on the underside of my arm. So while we're sitting here, I'm going to put it right here and we will see what happens live here on camera.
And to add to that, Nick's actually pretty sensitive to peppermint oil.
Yeah, I am.
So he hasn't found that this causes any sort of irritation. We're keeping it at a safe, a safe percentage of the essential oil to carry a oil blend.
I'm a delicate little flower.
He is. He's a difficult little flower. Delicate.
Oh,
delicate.
yeah, I said
You're
delicate.
So delicate.
Difficult.
I said delicate.
That's like Sam. Like my mustache, I call a lazy walrus, and a lot of people in the chat know she refers to it as a sad walrus.
Oh,
and I know, I'm like, that's just rude. Yeah, it's just rude here. All right, now my wife has had experience with this. I got to get her to try this currently. She's gone through every version of eyebrows you could ever imagine, like a lot of women have. And one of the things she tried to do was grow her eyebrows out, and she used just pure castor oil, and she had great success with it. Absolutely crazy great success. So with this one, Jill, I know the answer, but do you envision anybody seeing success with their eyebrows?
I do, but in a safe way. You would not be using the pipette for this, and I know Melissa wouldn't either. You would want to use a spoolie to make sure it gets just to the hairs, so nothing, drips down into your eyes. There is peppermint oil. It can be irritating. It is irritating to eyes.
And just to everyone's edification here in the audience, a spoolie is the things that's on your wife's bathroom counter. That's a little stick, and it's got the little curly things on the end with all the little hairs sticking out of it.
A mascara wand.
Yeah, those things.
So you'd want to, really either carefully dot with a finger, or use something that gets it right on there, Q-tips, spoolies, and things like that. So yes, overplucked eyebrows, it's great, and I have been using it in those areas too. There you go.
And then we're wrapped. We got about 10 minutes left, everybody. So if you have any dying questions, this will be the one, the time to drop it. And so Garrett says, are you going to be changing like thickness levels and making adjustments, or is this you're going to have one growth serum oil?
For the growth serum, we will have one oil. However, this is getting me very excited for a thicker oil that can go across the Signature Series line for men with either drier, thicker, coarser beards.
Yeah.
So
what we'd like is to have enough variation between essential oil based scents, longer lasting scents that you can't get from essential oils, thicker viscosity oil, along with growth serums. And what my thought is, as the technologist inside of me wants to automate and make things cool with everything, I'd love to have a little product selection wizard on our website where, if we had these variations of thicknesses and viscosity and scent profiles, essential oils, non-essential based, growth serums, etc., you could almost answer a few questions and it would give you a list of products that would work based on your answers. So the reason, you know, I've been thinking about that is for all of these reasons that Jill just mentioned, is the things that are kind of on the horizon for us. But no, this one's going to be one oil to rule them all. It's going to be one scent. It's going to be one thickness. This is not going to be a range of products. This is going to be one product. Now, that said, though, will this essential oil blend maybe work its way into a shower product like a shampoo or something like that? That is likely.
Yeah, that's fresh. That's absolutely fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And Damien, great question. I would say the difference of biotin and this growth serum is biotin is going to speed up the rate of growth. This is attempting to fill in areas that are weaker or look like they don't have hairs, and or to make the hair that's there existing actually thicker. We don't have any data or evidence that biotin actually makes any hair thicker. Now, there are some anecdotal experiences that people share about that, but I've never experienced that, so this is going to be on the opposite side. Now, can you take the two congruently and have them at the same time? Yeah, for sure.
It's like a 1-2.
Because biotin works from your insides out.
Right.
Yes.
I was going to say that.
This works from your outer.
Outside in. Yeah.
Yeah, it works from outside in. It's like the inside out boy. This is, you know, biotin's if you swing forward over the swing set. This stuff's for if you swing back around the backside of the swing set.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get that one either, but yes,
Am
absolutely.
I the only one here that remembers Inside Out Boy from Nickelodeon? The kid who swung over the things, then all of his meat was on the outside, and he was like this inside out kid walking around school.
I don't remember Inside.
He had to wear special shoes because his nerves were on the outside.
I know someone in the chat will, but I do not.
Come on, guys, back me up.
Yeah, you gotta help him here. And now again, to set this up, but I want you guys thinking of maybe an expectation or a guesstimate. Essentially, they're going to test this through and through until they can prove it with themselves, with their test subjects. But do you guys have let's say the trials go well and it continues to show promise. Do you have an idea of like an estimate of when you think this would come out?
So a proper test for us, would be the total of 60 days, which would be by that point right there.
Yep. I think it'll be a little over that. If I had to guess, I'm targeting end of May.
Okay. Like that.
Yeah. So I think,
like
and you know, if you look at it, we're going to be coming to the end of our tests here at the end of this month, beginning of May. And then we're looking at, you know, our normal 3-week lead time for production, which is essentially getting in labels, letting things steep, getting it in bottles and getting it ready on the site.
Perfect. So not that far out, guys. So stay tuned. We'll be covering it on the Dr. Nick's Instagram page. We'll be talking about it on these live streams. And I'm sure when the time is ready to roll, we'll get like an uploaded video out that will explain the oils, explain the benefits. That sounds like, to me, some great content, some great content. And then G Squared has a good question here. Let's say you do the 60 days and you don't have the results. Are you scrapping it? Are you adjusting it? What's your initial gut instinct there?
Back to the drawing board.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be what we always do. So our product development is based on your feedback, 100% based on customer feedback and requests. Right now, the only things we're developing are things people have asked us for. That's a true statement. I will also say that any products that have left our rotation or left the rotation early, or anything like that, has been because of feedback. You know, it's like higher, lower, more, less. We listen to that.
Except for seasonal scents, Yule Tree, which is in Beard right now, would be the exception to that rule.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. And it's like, that's like, you know, that just means it's coming back, right? It was a seasonal, so it's coming back as a seasonal. But for example, like for like X's and O's, right? We had some people who loved it, some people who hated it. So we ended it. When we ended it, we didn't continue it and do a second round because we just didn't like the feedback we got on it. So we're going to wait to hear feedback from this. And if it's great, then, you know, we're going to keep it. And if people want changes, we're going to change it.
Which, by the way, I'm interested to hear separately from some of our customers that did not enjoy the X's and O's.
Try it again.
When they received it in February.
Again.
Just give it a sniff.
We realized that we
email me you think it smells different.
Oh, we had a big oopsie on the X's and O's. It turns out the mix that we had in there wanted to steep and oxidize. We opened that thing up downstairs. There's like a little left in the jug. We opened it and I was like, whoa. I was like, what is this stuff? Go back and grab your X's and O's, crack that bad boy open, and it has steeped and it is a different oil.
X-ray freak, email me. I might have enough in that bottle to get you on. And if you like it, we'll just work something out.
Do you have unscented, Jason G, off of this subject, do you have unscented beard wax?
So 2 things. So hit me with is no, they don't have unscented beard wax, but could you get an unscented beard wax? And what about a natural deodorant?
Working on it.
That's a really tough one to test.
That's
literally.
Yeah, it's tough. Because
that's my wheelhouse right there. I'm a natural deodorant, a human being, but they are not all treated equally.
No, they're not. There is such a variation out there with them. And there's one that Jill really likes. We have not been able to duplicate it as of yet. I'm one of those people where if I catch even a slight hint of BO in myself, I'm back in the shower. I'm going home and showering. Like
you will never smell me other than pleasant. Sam says that I am the freshest smelling person on the planet, and she's with me 24/7 pretty much.
Same.
I do not ever smell under any situation. That is like that's my break point. Like I can't do it. I cannot do it.
No, no one has ever thought someone brought an Italian sub in the room when I walk in the room, not once ever.
Nope.
And so it needs to be spot on. That's one that's going to be in development for a while.
I was going to say that one's going to take some time.
Yeah.
Do we have an unscented beard wax right now? No. Do we have do we have a mustache wax? No. Are we going to have a mustache wax? Yes. Are we going to have it in an unscented variety when we do? Absolutely.
Perfect.
And also, in the meantime, if you haven't tried our balm stick, it does have wax in it. It has beeswax in it. We have an unscented version. It is a lighter hold. We like to call it a flexible hold. So at the end of the day, you can still run your fingers through, but it will keep your mustache away from your lips. It will keep your flyaways down. So it is a good in-between if you haven't tried it.
Yeah, perfect. Garrett, go smell that.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Let us know. All right, guys, we are getting to closing time. It's crazy how fast this time goes. I appreciate you guys being flexible and joining us at this new time. Maybe there's people that had not been able to watch before. Welcome. I hope you guys go back and check the other replays or watch the Tuesday streams. Next week, I had a really cool idea that I'm excited about to kind of shine another side of Nick where he knows a lot and can be helpful. So next week, we're going to talk about cybersecurity hygiene on the consumer side of things. So Nick deals with the biggest companies in the world and helping them protect what they do, but he also can help out you and I who just happens to work on a laptop or happens to work on their internet at home. So it's going to be kind of cool to hear from an actual expert about some just kind of user tips next week. And of course, we'll be able to catch up and talk about anything that's going on in our lives, ask questions, all that type of stuff. So Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern next week, guys, we'll be here. We hope that you guys join us. It'll be a lot of fun. Nick, Jill, take us away here with the last minute and a half.
I'm glad you gave us a minute and a half to do it because one real quick, Jason G just recorded a video today. That's what our beard balm stick does. That's what our balm stick does. It's not a mustache wax. It is a balm that has a wax in it. And I use it to chill out my sideburns. I use it straight out of the tube. I put it on my mustache. It works great. Give it a shot. It does come in unscented varieties. But to lead us out,
I think we're going to need the whole family to lead us.
I think we're going to need a guest star because we're doing this at night. Obviously, we have someone else here in the studio. So Jack, come on over.
Sir.
We wanted to we as a family, we just wanted to say thanks to you guys. We had some bad news, as you guys know, last week. We had to our old lady bulldog Dahlia unfortunately passed last week, and we made a post about it, just kind of letting people know things were going to be a little slow to respond and ship. And you guys just showed amazing support and love, like you always do, to all of us here. So from all of us to all of you, me, Jill, Jack, and Sir, we all appreciate just the support and the understanding and the love and
the emails, the messages, all the texts you guys sent. Thank you so much for being there for us all weekend. It means the world.
It really does. It was awesome. Like, you know, just it was a sad time, but seeing your emails come through, seeing your messages come through on Instagram, and you guys reaching out to us. Some of you even called us. And to a couple of you, if I haven't responded yet, I will. I promise. It's been a busy beginning of the week. But man, just thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. We love you guys. And what a great way.